factors underlying the student's perception of instruction of pronunciation. So I use exploratory factor analysis to see which factors underlying their perceptions. To put example, you can see what are the aspects of pronunciation instruction the students can perceive. Okay, in order to conduct a statistical test, we need to test all of the assumptions to make sure that the test is reliable. Okay, I will skip this because it's a little complicated for most of you. I would like to tell you the way I analyze research question number 2. I'm interested in the differences between the students at different proficiency levels and with or without prior pronunciation training and with or without language experience. So whether they differ from each other in terms of their perceptions of pronunciation. In order to analyze question number 2, I use ANOVAs and t-tests to compare the differences between 3 groups or 2 groups. In order to see the differences between 3 groups, I use ANOVA, and 2 groups, I use t-test. And of course, I have to test all of the assumptions before conducting the test. And these are the results. There are 5 factors identified after analyzing the questionnaire responses. You can see on the slide, the first factor is the importance of pronunciation instruction in foreign language learning. The students acknowledge the importance of pronunciation instruction, you can see. So it's a little contradicting or conflicting with the teacher's belief. The teachers say that, oh, it's not necessary, but the students think it's important. The second factor is self-perceptions of one's own pronunciation. Most of the statements in this category sounds negative. For example, I don't think my pronunciation is very good, and you will see some examples later. The third factor is aptitude to pronunciation error correction. So you can see whether the students have positive or negative aptitude to pronunciation error correction. Next, importance of pronunciation accuracy. Okay, you will find it very interesting to see intermediate students think more about pronunciation accuracy than advanced and elementary level students. And the final factor is pronunciation accuracy and priority of communication. So priority of communication, it means I asked the student whether they consider communication or pronunciation accuracy, which is more important. And many of them consider communication is more important than accuracy. It means they care more about fluency rather than accuracy. Okay, this is the example of the first factor, the importance of pronunciation instruction in foreign language learning. For example, you can look at the statements, the first one and the second one. Pronunciation training will make me more confident in speaking English. It means they acknowledge that it's important. Pronunciation training can help improve my communication skills. Okay, the way I analyze the responses using factor analysis helped me to summarize and compare the differences between groups in categories rather than item by item. It would be complicated if we compare item by item. So factor analysis helps us to synthesize the information. Okay, and the second example for self-perception of one's own pronunciation. For example, one of the statements is, I'm very worried about my pronunciation when speaking English, or people have trouble understanding my pronunciation. Most of the statements here sound negative, except one sentence, I like my English pronunciation. It means these statements ask about their own perceptions of their pronunciation. And the numbers you see on the right of the table show the correlation coefficients. It means the strong or weak relationship between the statements, and they all show rather strong relationship or positive relationships among the sentences. Okay. And the results for research question number 2. You can see I compare the differences between groups, 3 groups and 2 groups. Between 3 groups, according to proficiency levels like elementary, intermediate, and advanced. But pronunciation training, it means those who have taken a pronunciation course and those who haven't. So just yes or no, 2 groups, right? Language experience, it means have they ever communicated with a native speaker or not, 2 groups. Whether they have access to cable TV or the internet, also 2 groups. So for the last 2 categories, I use t-test, but for the first one, 3 groups, I use ANOVA. Okay, this is the result. When you look at the p-value here, you see all of the 3 values are significant. And it means that there are differences between the 3 groups according to proficiency level. But we don't know which group differs from which group. And we conduct another test, like the post hoc test, to see which group differs from the other. For example, when you look at self-perception of pronunciation, remember the statement, I'm worried about my pronunciation, or something like that. I'm worried about my errors in pronunciation. And you see 3 groups here, elementary, intermediate, and advanced. And you see the significant difference. And here you see the positive number. It means elementary level students have more negative perceptions of their own pronunciation than the other 2 groups. Okay? Significantly. Of course, it's easy to understand because they are at low level and they think their pronunciation is not good enough compared to the more advanced levels. It's easy to understand. Okay, you will see the summaries of the findings on the next slide. And in this slide, you see the t-test compare 2 groups regarding importance of pronunciation between the groups with and without training experience. It means with or without taking the pronunciation course. And you see this is pretty close to significant value, and this is significant. It means there is a difference, okay, a difference between the students' perceptions regarding importance of pronunciation and self-perception of pronunciation related to their prior knowledge of pronunciation training. Okay. You may not remember all